Hey there, welcome on into the Adventure Cave. If you are new around these parts, my name is Meg. I stream over on Twitch and I also post my Sims 4 speed builds here on YouTube. I'm really proud of how this speed build turned out. This style of home, this Craftsman farmhouse-ish sort of build, is more of what I'm comfortable building. I have built a modern family home as a speed build before and it didn't quite gel as well as this one here did. I seem to sort of prefer this type of build to any other sort of style, and when I was doing this build it all just kind of gelled really nicely. Everything fell into place, the image that I had in my head really came to life quite well, so it was great. So I am really proud of how this turns out in the end, and this is the kind of style house that I could always see myself living in real life as well. So it does have like a little bit of my own style to it as well, so I hope you guys enjoyed the look of this. As always, if you're enjoying this video then please give it a like and think about subscribing to my channel. As always as well, my links will all be down in the description box, my Twitch channel and also where you can find me on socials. If you like this build and it fits with your vibe, then it will be available for download on the gallery under my gallery ID, MisadventureMeg. In this part of the build as well, I go in and I create sort of like a picture frame look for the exterior. Where I have placed the wall siding, the one that I originally placed on the second floor, it did have that sort of picture frame white around the outside and on the corners, but then it wouldn't do it for like the bump outs and stuff on the bottom floor. So what I did was I went around with just the plain siding and added columns on the corners, and where I wanted that sort of framing look around the exterior I just popped columns on. Columns, all the white columns. I've said it once and I will say it again, roofing is not my forte when I'm building. I do not enjoy roofing, so I'm quite surprised with how well the roof turned out on this build. I've just added this arched sort of curved roof piece just to give it a little bit of something different on the front of the build. I do go in and end up shifting the front steps here as well and the front door entrance on this porch, just because I didn't like the way that it sort of entered on the inside, so I have shifted it over just a little touch. Also, coming up on this build, I couldn't quite figure out how to get the edging, like I think it's called like jutting edging or something. I couldn't figure out how to get it between the second floor and the roof on the exterior there. So what I ended up having to do is, there must be another way to do it. I just couldn't figure it out, but what I ended up doing was going around taking the roof down and putting half walls around just so that I could add that sort of exterior trim. I don't know if there's a better way to do it. There probably is. It's just me being an amateur builder that I don't really know how to do it. So after I place the windows, I end up going in, putting those half walls up just so that I can create that edging, that distinctive divide between the second story wall and the roofing pieces. I know you can do it between the ground floor and the second floor, but I just couldn't figure out another way to do it between the second floor and the roof. So this is just me creating rooms with half walls and putting exterior trims on. I don't know. If there is another way to do it, then please pop it in the comments and let me know. Educate me, please. This next trick I learned from Jessica Pye YT here on YouTube. What she does is she places the flower boxes underneath the window. She goes in with one colour swatch and then over the top she goes in with a different colour swatch just to give it a little pop of colour, make it a little bit different, not just the same standard flower box all the time. And I really like how it looks with the contrasting flower colours. In this part of the speed build, I am working on the driveway area, and to get this quarter tile, I have pressed Ctrl F on the keyboard to get the quarter tile, just to make that angle there. I also go in with the illusion of fence initially from Strangerville, but I didn't quite like that, so I went in with the base game Smooth Keeper just to define the edge of the garden bed at the front here, and I really like the way that it sort of makes it look like a raised garden bed when really it isn't, it's just a fence. Landscaping is probably my favourite thing to do in builds. I really love landscaping. I also in real life love gardening, so I think that might be where the correlation comes from. But I've also raised the terrain in the front here in the front garden. One of my tips for people who are a little bit nervous to use the terrain tools is that you can go in and adjust the speed that the terrain lowers or increases in height. There is just a slider tool there that you can just move it across to take the speed back a little bit so it doesn't do anything too crazy. You can always use the undo button if what you create is not exactly what you're looking for, or it just turns out to be really wacky and like a huge Mount Everest in your front yard. Watching back this speed build and editing, I'm really surprised that this turned out well at all, because I seem to have changed up my build process. Usually I do the shell and then go straight inside to place the furniture and all the interior rooms, but in this speed build I have built the shell, worked on the exterior and gone straight into landscaping, which is not my typical process, so I am kind of surprised at how well this all turned out. I end up really loving the exterior and all the landscaping. The plants and flowers that I have gone in here with in the front area are the dull daisies and the white swatch, also lavender, and then I go in and add some delphinium. Delphinium just seems to add an extra bit of height to the gardens around here, and I love that it comes in so many different vibrant colours. I also end up placing some sunflowers here in this little bump out area. I just love sunflowers, they make me so happy. Next I go in and add a garage off to the side of the house. I figure this is a family, they're going to need somewhere to store their cars, maybe extra storage for things, and I go and I roof it with a gabled roof. I end up putting a door on the front and the back, and also using that half wall trick underneath the roof to place the exterior trims there, just to give it like a framed look around the garage doors that I have placed on the front and on the back. Next I head inside to the interior, working on the layout and the floor plan for the inside here. The lower floor ends up being the entryway, the kitchen, dining and living space. I also popped like a little bit of a office area off to the side here. I include a fireplace because I adore fireplaces. I sort of went for like a farmhouse aesthetic on this build, and I struggle with island benches here in The Sims. I really don't know how to do like the transition from like a standard piece of bench to the island, so just excuse that little jut out there, just pretend you can't see it. In this kitchen for the first time I am using the Dream Home Decorator cooktop and ovens. I do end up having to shift the cabinetry out and back in and things like that, because as you can see, you can kind of see the cupboards through the oven doors. I don't know why that is. It's probably just me not knowing how to use it. Like I said, this is my first time using these pieces from this pack, so if you do know how to sort of eliminate that, please let me know in the comments. I also go in with the upper cabinetry. I end up using the big double tile as a pantry, and I think it looks really nice in this kitchen. I also went with the end pieces and I put a second end piece underneath just to cohesively make it look like it's sort of seamless, and I really like those glass fronted cabinets as well in this type of kitchen. I typically don't use this darker swatch because it's not really my vibe, it's not my aesthetic, but I really like the way that it looks in this kitchen. And here we go. A standard process in my builds is me going through the clutter, the decorations, and all those miscellaneous pieces and pulling them out from the catalogue and just placing them all on the floor. I do that so that I don't forget any pieces. It also makes cluttering a lot easier for me. If you've got a different way that you do it, like if that's not your process, then please let me know. I'd love to know how other people do their cluttering. Like, do you go piece by piece? Do you pull it out like that like I do? What is your process for cluttering and decorating? You'll see here that I am cluttering the kitchen and I don't have the OMSP shelf mod switched on. I actually don't even have it installed while I'm doing this part of the build. I had some issues with all of my mods. I was having game crashes. My game was crashing while I was streaming. It would happen about 2 hours and 15 minutes into my stream. Every stream, it happened about 3 times. So I ended up having to uninstall all of my mods and reinstall them, and the crash still happened. I checked that I was using the latest version of everything, and I was. So I ended up having to play on stream unmodded, and it was so weird. Coming from console to PC, I told myself in my head that I wasn't going to become reliant on mods and custom content in my gameplay and in my builds, but it seems like I've gone against my own wishes and I have become slightly reliant on them. When I game unmodded and when I build unmodded, I don't know what to do. I sort of forget how to clutter, I forget how to place things, I forget so many things when I'm playing unmodded, but now they're all fixed. Hopefully there won't be any more issues. There wasn't on my last stream when I played with the mods reinstalled and stuff, so I think it's all done with and everything is back to being hunky-dory and okay. Fingers crossed. I also wanted to share with you guys another, well, it's not really a hack, it's more like an undiscovered way to level up your builds. And the way that I do that is I go into the gallery and I download art. If you go into the gallery and you search rooms and then just search like a hashtag or anything like that, and you can find pieces of art that fit your build. Right here I have searched on the gallery for farmhouse art and it's come up with so much. The way that I do it then is I download the room and then I go back into my build and I place the walls / rooms outside and I just grab the pieces of artwork that I want and then pop them into my build. It's as easy as that. Well, I think it is as easy as that. The hardest part is like trying to decide which ones you actually want to use in your build. That's the hardest part. Here I go in also doing some cluttering with the OMSP shelf, and just a little tip, you can't actually use the shelf to move things and items that clip specifically to a counter, like the appliances here, the coffee machines. They have to clip to a counter in a specific space, so they won't actually be able to be used with the shelf. But I also go in here and clutter up these end tables with the shelf, and I'll let you watch here how I do it. This is exactly how I use it. In a nutshell, it's pretty much just letting you alt place things at a certain level without having to use the Control 9 or Control 0 keys to raise and lower items. It does only work against a wall, so if you're wanting to place things in the middle of the room on a table, it won't actually work like that. That's the one downside to it, but it is really handy for cluttering just like this. You'll see in the background here the rooms that I downloaded from the gallery with the art in them, and all I do is simply place them outside there of the house, use the art pieces inside my build, and then go and select the room/wall and delete it. Also, when you delete it, it auto sells the art and the paintings as well, so you don't have to worry about it affecting the price of your build. A couple more pieces of kid-friendly art, and then I'm going to be moving on to the dining area of this space. When I had envisioned this build, I really wanted a space like a central hub for celebrations, things like Thanksgiving, Christmas, those times of the year when you have those big celebration meals. That's essentially what I wanted to happen in this table here. I also added a toddler's high chair, and underneath it I went in with this newspaper from Cats and Dogs, just envisioning that the toddler is a little bit messy with their food and they fling it everywhere and it gets all over the floor, and the newspaper would just, in my head, be something really simple to clean up after the toddlers finish eating. I really like the fluffy woolly plush rug from the Snowy Escape pack, but I do find that it's a little bit too small for my liking. So what I end up doing in this build here is I size it up just once, but I do that to 2 different rugs, and then I layer them to make it so that it looks like one larger rug. I've also included a kid-friendly space down here downstairs. I envision the parents preparing dinner or something and then needing a space for the kids to safely play while they prepared the meals. Now moving on up to the second floor, and up here I have created all of the bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 ensuite up here, and the laundry that comes off the bathroom. I've also created a mezzanine area for the kids to hang out, and I mentioned earlier in the video that I was going to do something cool with these bump outs on the side. Not only do they add a nice feature to the exterior, but on the inside I've also created something cool. I have the chimneys on the exterior bump out, and then on the interior one in the ensuite for the main bedroom, I have created a walk-in shower, and I've tried to make it as luxurious as possible. I also added in the waterfall fountain from Spa Day, and the dark tiles on the floor, and the dark sort of slate looking tile around the walls. I really wanted this bathroom to end up being something really tranquil and sort of an escape for the parents. I have put in the cabinets here, the sinks. I've just placed them inside the cabinets. It didn't end up working for me. I have seen other people over on social media doing a similar thing and making like these raised sinks, and theirs work fine. When I play tested mine, it didn't, so I do end up going in and changing the sinks for the final screenshots. I typically don't use these darker swatches for bathrooms, but I do end up using like a dark black tile and again these slate looking wall trims. It just makes it feel so much more upmarket, I think. I really like how it turned out. Usually in my builds, I end up making like a feature walk-in closet sort of thing in the master bedrooms, but in this one I'm just going with something really simple from Discover University. I have placed a mirror behind it, and then I'm just cluttering it up with a few different pieces. Just a simple wardrobe clothing storage space. This mezzanine space turned out pretty neat. I have placed in some cushions from Spa Day to create like a little sort of chill out area. Also put in some desks and a computer for the kids to do their homework in and do some gaming maybe, they like to game. I also go in and place a TV so the kids can watch TV up here as well. They can sit on all of the little plush cushions and watch some TV, get away from their parents if they want to, and just a little extra space for them all to hang out rather than being in their bedrooms all the time. As I mentioned, I also include the laundry up here on the second floor. I really like having the laundry on the second floor, especially where all the bedrooms are, meaning that if you've got laundry to do, it's not that far to go to put it away. I place a couple of like laundry baskets in here, a bucket with cleaning supplies, and some things that look like laundry liquid. Just a simple, no frills, no fuss laundry here next to the bathroom. I do end up going in and changing the floor pan by a couple of tiles of the bathroom just because it didn't fit everything that I needed to in there for the kids' main bathroom. I pop a shower over the bath, a toilet, some sinks, and also a couple of mirrors in here. Just really a small bathroom for the children with everything that they actually need. I do go and pop a rubber ducky in. I love the rubber duckies. Took me a while to get the ducky just right, but I got there in the end. And in this build, I have included a total of enough beds for 5 children. So in this room here, I've got 3 sets of beds, 1 set of 2 bunks, and then also 1 set of a single bunk. And then in the baby room, there is a toddler bed and a crib or bassinet. So yeah, enough space for 5 kids in this family. Holy heck. I'm not about that big family life, but maybe that's what this family loves. They're about that 5-kid family life. I tried my best to cover off all the different interests in this room and nothing too particular. Like there's a game console on the floor, there's lots of plushies, lots of toys, a couple of robots and a bookshelf. So something for every child, hopefully. I tried not to be too specific with this room because, like I said, there may be a couple of kids in here and each of them have different interests. Over here in what I deem to be like the nursery, maybe there's a baby in there at the moment and the family are preparing for it to age up into a toddler. So I tried to make it quite a transitional space here with a whole lot of toys as well, something that could cater for a baby and then also for a toddler. I've made my own sort of custom change table as well, and the way that I did that is using this storage unit from the Parenthood pack and then an ottoman from Luxury Party. I sized it down by 1 and then I raised it up using the Control 9 key and placed it inside the storage unit. I also cluttered it up at the end just to make it look like a custom change table. I really like how it turned out. I also found a baby bottle in the debug menu. I went in with that trick again with the newspapers that I used downstairs under the high chair, and I placed the newspapers from Cats and Dogs under the potty just to help to keep it a little bit cleaner underneath there. I've also included this clip of me going into the gallery to find some family portraits. I really wanted there to be like a family portrait gallery wall in this upstairs hallway area. So here I am just picking out some photos. They're not even of Sims that will be living in this house. They're just of random Sims, but I really like this one here with the baby and the parents as well. It's really cool. And just a couple more touches and then I move on to the exterior and the yard, and I couldn't find a runner that I liked to put here in the hallway, so I just sized up a small rug twice and popped it there in the middle. And like I said, a few more finishing touches and then I move on outside to the yard. It's yard time. Probably my favorite time in my build is when I get to do the exterior, the backyard. I tried to make it a space for everyone of all ages in the family. I have put some outdoor furniture so that the family can lounge out there. I end up putting a outdoor table as well so they can do some outdoor dining. I've cluttered up the garage. I've put a car in the driveway, a car inside the garage, some snowboards on the wall, don't ask me why, and then a little bit extra storage in the garage. And like I said, I try to make this a space for everyone of all ages in the family, so I end up putting a basketball hoop on the side of the garage there. I tried my best to use the basketball hoop that clips onto the side of a building, but for the life of me I couldn't get it to move up or down, and it kept clipping to the garage door, which I didn't like, or to the top of the roof. So I ended up using the basketball hoop that is on a stand, and then I placed some concrete out the back of the garage as well so that the kids can shoot some hoops if they want, play a little bit of a basketball game. And I've also included a toddler slide, the swings and the monkey bars so that all of the kids can have a little play outside. It looks pretty cool. I'd like it to be my backyard. For the landscaping out the back here, I just use all of the same plants that I used out the front, and I end up going in with the terrain paint as well around the play structures just to make it look like the grass is a little bit worn out, like the kids have been playing in it and they've worn the grass out, which I really like to think that my builds have been well used by kids as well. I end up making a pond as well because I think like the kids would have had fun in there looking for tadpoles and stuff. I also end up going in with the Stumpy chair from the, I think it's Outdoor Retreat pack, and I don't use it as a chair. I know that it'll probably be used as that in gameplay, but I wanted it to look like a sort of like stepping stump, more like it, that the kids could just jump from stump to stump in the backyard, just an extra little fun plaything. Here I am adding windows and also just editing some of the items that were kind of poking through the walls a little bit. Story of my life, when I alt place things just end up being halfway through the walls. And that brings me to the end of the speed build. If you have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed the video, then please give it a like and think about subscribing to the channel if you enjoy my content. It really helps me out and helps me grow my channel. As always, this build will be available on the gallery under my gallery ID, MisadventureMeg. All my links are in the description box as well, including the link to my Twitch channel if you want to catch me live. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and you will hear from me in the next video.